My name is Kirsten Beverly, owner and wine enthusiast at Wine and Small Bites. What I enjoy most about being a wine enthusiast and being able to educate people is getting people to step out of their comfort zones when it comes down to the subject of wine and drinking wine. And really, when I introduce them to something really new, seeing the excitement that they discover something or a fact that they never knew, or the science and the history behind it, and like people really grasping onto those things. And then I see them later on and they're on social media and they're sharing all this knowledge that they have and they're giving it to their friends so that way they don't make the same mistakes. The other thing is called dosage. Dosage. And what that is what makes the wine sweet. Alright, so it's that little bit of sugar, it's a blend of sugar and a blend of wine that they add into champagne or sparkling wine once they're ready for a while. Right before it's almost time to add it, and then introduce how sweet or not sweet the wine will be. Okay, and then we have vintage and non-vintage. Everybody familiar with those? So the journey to developing Wine and Small Bites, it happened really fast, but I realized when I look back on it that there were a lot of things, like a lot of signs and a lot of things that I started to love along the way that let me know I was always being like, light bulbs were going off all around me. It took me a while to like get like the bright light. And so it started, I want to say about 19, and I was working at this French pastry shop downtown, and my boss invited all the employees out for dinner. And I remember we went to this BYOB. It was like probably one of the fanciest restaurants I had ever been to. I'm 19, so I'd never really seen much. And for every meal she paired a wine, and so I was tasting wines I had never tasted before, and I thought that the fact that she paired everything so beautifully, I was just completely like beside myself. So after that, I made sure that I was constantly drinking wine, constantly learning about it, and I would briefly talk to people about it, but not too much. I then went into fine dining as a server, which really developed my skill as far as the service of wine and making sure that you're able to give facts as a selling point. So now I'm a salesman or a saleswoman in the field of wine. But the light bulb really didn't go off until I took a trip down to Atlanta, which is my second home. My family lives down there. And we went to a wine and yoga kind of party at a friend's house, and there was a bartending company there, and she had a partner who made the food. They weren't necessarily pairing it, but I thought the idea that they came into people's homes, into their intimate settings, and created atmospheres that made them comfortable where they could have a great time was amazing. And from that, Wine and Small Bites came about. And so it was an idea I had in my mind. I kind of played with it. Not necessarily saying it out loud, but still like teaching people, not even realizing that I'm teaching people, where like people respect it. Like, there's certain things that you don't do around me. There's certain glasses that you don't drink out of when you come around Kirsten. And finally, I got my big chance at a really huge event. It was last year around Mother's Day. And I started doing appearance, and people remembered it. People loved it. My first time around, critiquing myself, I thought it was pretty bad. I was like, oh man, these pairings, really, Kirsten? Like, clearly, like, you shouldn't eat like jelly beans and like Riesling together, but like in my mind it seemed like a good idea. And then I really started to like read and study and talk to people like experts in my field to really develop my bites and what I wanted it to be, and it's been a success ever since. I think that it's really important that you can continue to hone in on your craft. I equate it to being a doctor or a nurse. You don't just go to school and then like you think you know it all and then you like start to treat people, because over the years and as time goes on, things change. Another big thing is making sure that you understand every aspect of your business. So in my case, having wine, I need to understand how it's made. I also have food involved. It's a food pairing company. So I need to understand how to make the bites and how to pour it, and with every aspect, graphic design, my website, all of these things, so that way I'm not dependent upon others. Of course, naturally I want them to do all of these pieces that I can't, especially the winemaking, because it's as you've seen, is pretty hard. I want to be able to understand all of those pieces, and so you have to constantly hone in on your craft, constantly meet other people, pull what advice you can, have mentors around you constantly. I'm in contact right now with sommeliers, level 4 and level 5 wine experts, just trying to get as much knowledge as I can from them, and I'm learning stuff every day. I'm just convinced that I know that I don't know it all. In the moment that you think that you know it all, then you should probably like kind of rethink the process and go at it again, because things are constantly evolving. And you have to make sure that you are on top of your game, so that way you can be a respected expert in your field, in your lane. I else want to throw out an idea about what they think of goals. All right, good news. Everybody's right about exactly what a goal is, and everybody should have them, even when you start in school. So you guys are like maybe like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, all that good stuff. Even at the beginning of the year, when you're starting school, you say you want to get all A's. That's a goal, that you want to get all A's, and you got to plot it out. You got to make sure that you take the necessary steps to make sure that you get all A's. All right. If you're not good at math, you say I want to be better at math. So then you got to set goals to be better at math. I would definitely encourage other people who are considering entrepreneurship to not let the financial barrier be that thing that holds you back. Starting out, I invested in a coach, and it was a little over $350 a month to have this coach pour into my business and kind of groom me as an entrepreneur. I mean, it was a huge investment, and there were times where I felt like I didn't have the money to make it, but she taught me to constantly pull on your resources. So not being afraid to ask for things, not being afraid to allow people to help you. And there's so much out there that doesn't cost money that you can't let what you think you can't do stand in the way because of the money aspect. And I'll give a great example. My very first event, my launch, my first public class, I literally scraped and scrounged and survived solely off of ticket sales to get my event paid for, and then money just started falling out the sky at the very end. And then in the case of my wine, I actually reached out to people. I knew I didn't have the exact funds to be able to purchase my grapes right then and there in the time frame that I needed to do it. And so I wrote a really, really inspiring letter and emailed it out to every person I had in my contacts who I thought could help me. And I ended up having someone sow a seed for $1,000 into my wine business. And they did it without even a thought. Absolutely, I'll do it. The return on interest was amazing for them, and they believed in me. They know that it's going somewhere. And so you have to give people, you have to be an amazing storyteller when it comes down to finances, because your story is going to be the thing that allows people to sow a seed into your business and believe in you. Entrepreneurship for me as a black woman in this time, 2017, is really, really important. And it was something that was on my heart for a while, and just knowing the importance of it. But then I took a trip to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C., and there was a whole floor that was dedicated to black enterprise. And that's when it really hit home to me that, like, we don't sow seeds into our own community enough, or we don't show people that you don't have to depend on the men to get everything that you want in life, or to be able to survive and just thrive as an individual, and just bringing other people into it. And so it's really important to me to be black, be an entrepreneur in this climate right now. And I know a lot of people are against Trump, but one thing that I always try to encourage people, a positive place, is that he is an entrepreneur. And so there's no better time than right now to take advantage of it and kind of sow a seed into what you want to do, and then give back. Always know that your purpose has to imply people. And so as a black woman, I'm giving back to my community by showing young girls and showing young guys that you don't have to just do one thing. Like, sure, you can go to college, that's amazing, get a degree, walk in your career, I'm doing all of those things, but then there's that part where, like, you have to do your purpose, and you have to find a way that you can be independent from the entity that employs you, so you employ yourself, and just showing people how to do that in my community, so that way we can become more self-sufficient instead of dependent on other people to bring resources into our community. My name is Kirsten Beverly, and I am a black boss. on Facebook. I was scrolling through my posts, and I sent her this picture. I was sitting out on the balcony on my 25th birthday, drinking Moscato in a glass with ice. Oh, jeez. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, like this was me. Like I did this, and I was like, I'm deleting this. And she was like, no, you should use it. Like you should definitely let people know. Like you once were a sinner, but now you have been delivered. And so yeah, like Moscato, absolutely don't do it. I'm gonna judge you every time. People around you are judging you. When you go out and order Moscato, people are judging you. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's disgusting. People drink it all wrong. And please, people, one last thing. Don't fill your glass up to right here. This is not a proper pour. This is not the way that it works. This is a